Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Charlie State and Naga Manchetti.
Our headlines today. Stay local rules will lift in Wales from tomorrow and staycations are back on, but only for people living within its borders.
And as Europe rows and wrangles over the supply of vaccines, we have an exclusive. We're inside the UK's only facility which is guaranteeing us a supply of these life-saving vials.
Lockdown has been a boost to the garden economy. I'll be finding out the top trends for this year.
Good morning. Easy does it for England in the World Cup qualifiers. Ollie Watkins scores on his international debut in the expected goal rush against San Marino. As Scotland fight back to draw with Austria, but Northern Ireland lose in Italy.
And the three brothers who wanted to say thank you to NHS hospital staff here in Bristol. They've been cooking them a free breakfast for the last year.
And weather-wise, it's a pretty chilly day today. There may be some sunshine, but get ready for some heavy and thundery showers. I'll have your full forecast here on Breakfast.
Good morning, it's Friday the 26th of March. Our top story this morning. Wales will end its stay local rules from tomorrow. Many people will be able to travel within its borders without restrictions.
It's the first UK nation to allow travel since lockdowns were reimposed, with tourist accommodation also given the green light to reopen. Hal Griffith has more.
The coast is calling. After 3 months of confinement, from tomorrow, people across Wales can travel where they want, as long as they remain within its borders. The final decision came last night.
I think there's a mass confusion over when people are opening and when they're not opening.
For Paula, it means she can reopen her cabins. But with 96% of her customers normally coming from England, there are still spaces. She hopes the bookings will now come.
I think people have been literally locked into their homes and they just want to get out. And they just want the freedom of walking and just breathing in the fresh air and see the sea.
For now, it's only Welsh visitors who can come and enjoy this scenery. Tourism trips across the border aren't allowed, with people in England being told to stay local over the Easter holidays.
Along the coast at Porthcawl, they still expect to be busy. Some of the residents are anxious about crowds coming.
Very nervous. It happened last year and we couldn't even walk along the prom, there were so many people. And whilst I understand people wanting to come out, it's daunting if you live here as well.
The Welsh Government has called on people to be cautious as they take this next small step towards freedom. Hywel Griffith, BBC News.
Vaccine passports may only be introduced once all adults have been offered a jab. This according to the Prime Minister. Boris Johnson says no decisions have been made on the scheme, which would require people to prove they've been vaccinated before visiting pubs and other venues, but promised an update next month. Many business owners have cast doubt on the idea, saying it would be difficult to implement.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has said AstraZeneca must catch up with vaccines delivered to the European Union before exporting doses to other countries, including the UK.
The warning came after EU leaders met to discuss vaccine supplies. They blame AstraZeneca for delays to the rollout of the jab across the EU, saying the company failed to deliver promised doses. John Donnison has more.
With much of Europe battling a third wave of the virus, no EU leader wants to appear weak on ensuring the EU receives its fair share of vaccines. Last night, the President of the European Commission said the EU had exported 21 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine to the UK in the last 4 months, and nothing had come back in the other direction.
I think it is clear for the company that, first of all, the company has to catch up, has to honour the contract it has with the European member states before it can engage again in exporting vaccines.
But while the threat of an export ban on vaccines is there, many EU countries are still reluctant to enforce it in practice. And a statement issued after a marathon video conference call between the 27 EU leaders stopped short of explicitly backing the Commission's call for export restrictions. France's President Emmanuel Macron has said he backs export controls. But the German Chancellor Angela Merkel warned it was important to protect global supply chains.
Guten Abend.
Concerns shared by the leaders of the Netherlands, Belgium and Ireland. And as COVID-19 cases continue to rise across much of the continent, the tensions over vaccine supply are unlikely to end here. John Donnison, BBC News.
Lorry drivers arriving in England may be required to take a COVID test if they're coming from mainland Europe. Drivers had previously been exempt from testing, but a haulage industry source has told the BBC the government has warned them to prepare for the change. The Department for Transport says it's carefully monitoring an increase in cases in Europe and would keep all measures under review.
The stranded container ship blocking the Suez Canal could be stuck for weeks despite efforts to free the vessel. The Ever Given has been stranded since Tuesday after being blown off course by strong winds. It's holding up around £7 billion worth of goods each day and causing huge tailbacks of other ships trying to pass through the waterway.
A teacher at a school in West Yorkshire has been suspended after showing a class a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad.
Parents protested outside Batley Grammar School yesterday after the picture was shown during a lesson. The head teacher has since apologised. The government has said it was never acceptable to intimidate teachers. Shabnam Mahmood reports.
Videos posted online show an angry protest outside a school in Batley. Parents calling for the sacking of a teacher who used an image of the Prophet Muhammad during a school lesson. The teacher in question had been suspended, pending an independent formal investigation.
The school unequivocally apologises for using a totally inappropriate image in a recent religious studies lesson. It should not have been used. The member of staff has also relayed their most sincere apologies.
Showing the image has offended the Muslim community. Batley Grammar School is in a town with a high number of Asian families. According to a 2015 Ofsted report, 3/4 of its pupils come from ethnic minorities. People I've spoken to outside the school say they're shocked by what's happened.
Overall, it's offensive. Whether it was, like I said, a family member, a friend, a teacher, it's offensive. The issue has been raised and flagged and dealt with. It should be laid to bed now.
The Department of Education has issued a statement urging parents not to protest and said it is never acceptable to threaten or intimidate teachers. They said schools are free to include a full range of issues, ideas and material in their curriculum, including where they are challenging or controversial, subject to their obligations to ensure political balance. They must balance this with the need to promote respect and tolerance between people of different faiths and beliefs. Community leaders here say although they are hurt by what happened, they will continue to work closely to resolve the issue. Shabnam Mahmood, BBC News, Batley.
China has imposed sanctions on 9 UK citizens, including 5 MPs and 2 peers, for spreading what it called lies and disinformation about the country. It comes in retaliation for measures taken by the UK government on Monday after human rights abuses against the Uyghur Muslim minority group. The former Conservative Party leader, Ian Duncan Smith, is one of those facing sanctions.
See the headlines as they happen and watch BBC News live in the app and get the full story with bbc.co.uk/news. Follow the story for all the latest with BBC News.